Hi, Daddy. What you doing?
What you doing the regatta shuffle right now? Oh, a little scullin'. Let's scoop it. Some conk style and ting. Let's go.
Yo, what's going on, people? It's your boy Dyson Knight, and this is episode 94 of the Sup'm Show. And I want to know what's going on in the Bahamas. Yeah. Been doing some research. I would prefer to have my feet on the ground and know exactly what's happening instead of relying on the news. But something stood out to me. Tourism, I think, is still, no, I'm pretty sure, still the number one industry in the Bahamas. And with all of the investment in tourism, the airports, especially the new ship port, downtown Nassau, there's reports, the Ministry of Tourism, I think it was the Ministry of Tourism. Anyway, the young man claimed that there are people that aren't making money, that should be making money, or that want to make money from tourism, and they're not able to do it. And what I liked about um, what he said is that he said, if you can't figure it out, I'm willing to sit down and help you figure it out. I think that was a proud moment for me, seeing a politician reach out. Now they always say, come to the office, and the office ain't open, but I believe he was genuine in what he was offering. But it's fascinating to me because I just found out recently that one of my best friends from high school, shout out to Demetrius, he is doing tours. He has a taxi business, but his thing is, he says he's specializing in giving tours. And it took me back to um, when I did Bahama Host, and they teach you all about the Queen Staircase, all of the lighthouse, all of the forts, all these things that's going on that you could actually, make money off of the museums. I'm talking about the history, government house, just telling people that these things exist, things you've been walking by and taken for granted basically all your life. You can package a tour and make money right from that. I won't tell you how much he charged, but he took a couple of my friends from Trinidad out, and they hit me up after the tour, and they were amazed. They were fascinated. It's a man, a woman, and child. And we take for granted how much the Bahamas has to offer and how many different ways we can make money off of the fact that we live in paradise. Speaking about people who live in paradise, my special guest on the show, who is often in the comments, who we appreciate so much, Ruckus Man, what's going on? What's going on, money?
What's going on, brother Dyson? Thank you for having me back, sir.
Man, listen, stop that sir talk now.
All right, my bad. They trying to be respectful, you see, because last time I was here.
No, but you can't. It's impossible to be disrespectful on the show. As long as you speak in your honest feelings, we good. So what's how the people treating you in funky Nassau, man?
Well, I don't know if I should say this, but been witness to some few things, and gotta get questioned on a few things if you can leave it right there.
Wow. Okay. All right.
What's going on, Tada?
Hey, yeah, I see Tada in the building. Tada. Yeah, bro. So like I wanted that first tourism thing stood out to me. Like how many people making money off of tourism that
yeah.
Or and let me rephrase that. How many people aren't making money from tourism that want to make money from tourism? And there's this argument about downtown Nassau and its true potential. How do you feel about the new port? First of all, you been out there and check it out?
Yeah, I saw it. Um, from a, I guess from a growth standpoint, it's a good thing. Um,
Mhm.
I just wonder if it's a good enough reflection of Bahamian culture because
Mm.
it feels like a lot of catering to as opposed to showcasing us.
So
So
you
I'm not
prefer
entirely sure.
you would prefer the straw, like, is it too New Yorkish? Is it too glamorous to say, too modern where it should still is are we losing the island vibe from at the port?
Yeah,
Is
and
that
then yeah, yeah. Maybe the architecture could have reflected more of an island vibe. Um,
mm.
that's yeah. It
How
it it make it's a little too metropolitan for me, but that's
okay,
just
I
my
get you.
opinion.
I get it. I think the strength of the Bahamas and the strength of tourism has always been the people, the
Hmm.
attitude of the people, right?
Agree.
The hospitality. That's
Agree.
what always stood out. So for me, it doesn't matter how the infrastructure is designed, as long as it works. And speaking about
Mm.
infrastructure that works, we
Yeah.
talk about BPL too, right? Once we here. But as long
You
as
know what
long as it
BBL stand for, right?
what is that for?
Bungian people long time. That's what BBL stand for.
From from the starting. Um, let me hit on BPL right quick because for those of you who don't know, there's a 25-year contract on the table with a foreign energy management company. They're now and it's
Mm-hmm.
on the table, it's in talks. I'm getting this vibe that it's already a
Mm-hmm.
seal deal, like it's already going to happen the way that they have the airport being managed
Probably.
by a Canadian company.
Probably.
Um, and
Probably.
my question is that the BPL people seem to be a little, I wouldn't say upset, but they feel a little left out, a little disrespected.
Mm.
And my thing is
Mm.
because I know one of my boys, one of my good boys, used to play trombone when I used to be with Visage, right? Um,
Mm.
he works for BPL, and I know how much training they give BPL employees. Like these dudes could go anywhere, and they have been. You see, when they have hurricanes in certain areas, the Bahamas would send a team of specialists
Yeah.
down to help them build stuff because these dudes are trained, they capable. So my
Mm.
thing is,
Mm.
and I feel this way about the airport too. My thing is, are we should we pay attention to what they're saying in the thinking that they are only trying to ensure that the Bahamians that are qualified to do the work get the jobs as opposed to these memorandums of understandings with the union that have all of this nice wording that says yes to the workers, but then they have these contracts
Mm.
that really say no. I mean, you ever been in a situation whereas your your mommy then tell you no, right?
Yeah. Mm.
So you go and ask daddy or you ask
Mm.
Grammy, and Grammy say yes. So you want to go
Yeah.
with and it becomes some type of I think that's the type of conflict that's happening right now. I mean, you know anything about what's going on BPL?
Um, I don't have extensive knowledge of what's going on with BBL. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I should probably do a little more research on it before
Oh, that's cool.
commenting on it. But what I will say is BBL, Bahamas Air, and other entities like it. When BTC was with government, I would say even ZNS, they all suffer to me from the same symptoms.
What's that?
Basically, you have the people at the top who are stuck in their ways, and they're very slow to innovate. Um, and because that is the case, and people don't like when I say this, but it's some tall teething going down.
Oh, I was waiting till you get
If
there
you
because
can,
yeah.
okay.
How tall?
if
Six
ultimately
foot
if,
nine.
ultimately if you disrupt the teething flow,
Right.
it ain't gonna be too much change. You see what I
Poor
saying?
manage, poor
So
management, poor management, along with the teeth. Poor management is what you were pretty much talking about first, and then the teeth in
so that's
is
what we can
second.
do. We can use proper terminology for management. How do they say it?
Yeah.
Embezzlement of funds. There ain't nobody teething the money. It's
Yeah.
misappropriated. That's what we can say.
Misappropriated. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It's being
Mm-hmm.
misused. But seriously, let's on the other
Mm-hmm.
side, on the infrastructure side of poor management. You have we just celebrate
Mm-hmm.
50. This is the 52nd or 51st year independence.
51, 51. Yeah. Yeah.
51st year independence. And I was reading my research with BPL that we have they have to restore or replace um the transmission and distribution facilities, the network, and
Mm-hmm.
some of the transponders and some of the equipment that we have on the ground right now more than 50 years
Mm-hmm.
old.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty basically they
Let
saying
me let
all
me
of
let me say it.
national
Let me say it to you like this.
go ahead.
Let me say it to you like this. I must be the only person in the country that remembers this.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember very distinctly this when Minnis was prime minister. He said something pertaining to BPL that blew my mind. He said he watched the BPL staff scramble to find the floppy disk to put in the computers to reboot the system. I say, hold on. Did this nigga just say floppy disk?
Floppy disk, man. But Minutes up in age too. Maybe he didn't know. Maybe it was a thumb drive, and he was maybe he just called it a floppy disk.
That's what we're gonna do. Tyson, I kind of admire your optimism, but no, nigga, no. No, that nigga said floppy disk.
Well, mother, but it ain't like we ain't know. We look at there's a lot of innovation now, and in the show, ladies and gentlemen, is about what's going on in the Bahamas. I want to talk about as many things as possible, for real.
I,
But
I, I do want to say this too, Brother Dyson. I do, yes to the floppy disk, yes. I do want to say this too. One of the things I think we also need to get away from is making everything so Nassau centric. Because, okay, having been in Grand Bahama, I'm currently in Grand Bahama right now.
All right, big ups to Grand
There
Bahama,
are
Freeport.
things here that yeah, man. But there are things here that need to be addressed as well. There's things in Abaco that need to be addressed. There's things in Eleuthera that need to be addressed. There's things
Mm-hmm.
in Bimini that need to be addressed. But it's just a lot of times, and maybe it's not intentional, but a lot of time people forget that the Bahamas is more than Nassau.
Right.
So, yeah. I just want to throw that out there, so that everybody could kind of remember that, hey, you know, especially in
Well,
Grand Bahama, things ain't really been things since Dory.
wow. Yeah. Yeah. And Grand Bahama is one of my favorite places to perform. Um,
Mm.
and I have to say that
Yeah,
being
yeah,
in
but the
it,
guys like you, yeah, what you dealing with?
I like them too. But look, yeah, I have to say, I mean,
Mm-hmm.
you had a very solid point just now, because the Bahamas, 700 islands, rocks, and keys, and
Mm-hmm.
we have, of course, they put more emphasis on Nassau because it's the capital. It's not because it's the capital. It's because the majority of people are there. And I tell my friends and family this: back to your Tiffin um idea, right? To the Tiffin, it wasn't yours. It
Ain't
is
my
a
idea.
Tiffin
They
idea.
doing
A
plenty
idea.
teething. Ain't my idea.
Yeah, it's a plan.
Shit, I want
So
teeth too.
but yeah, I say, make it make sense. And if you really think about it,
Mm,
it all goes back in any economy, in any business, in any industry. The way to make money is to understand supply and demand. What is the number one
mm,
commodity in any country? Is the people. That's the number one commodity. That's the number one
people.
resource. I don't care if you have gold in the ground or
Mm,
oil in the ground. The people will still be the number one
mm,
resource because you need them in order to monetize whatever natural resource there is. You feel me?
mm.
So when it
Yeah.
comes to the people and when it comes to governments wanting power, you need that vote. You see what I'm saying? So the most
Mm,
attention is gonna go where the numbers are, where the most votes are, where the majority of people are, and that's because we have, I feel, we have the wrong intention. The intention is another 5 years of governance or power per se, another 5 years of
mm,
having
mm,
the drop on who gets what contract or who
mm,
has information or the opportunity to get into a 25-year contract with a foreign entity, which in any foreign
mm.
company that comes in to do business in the Bahamas, by law, you have to have a Bahamian partner. So which partner is that going to be? See what I'm saying? So there's a lot of
Mm.
the people think, politicians don't get paid a lot. Politicians don't get paid a lot from from the treasury, but the opportunity is billions,
So
millions.
does that since politicians or the MPs really don't get paid that much, that gives them the, how should I say this,
Well,
the
you have a they're
opportunity
supposed to
to
get that.
put themselves in teeth in positions.
Well, it encourages them. The same way
Oh,
where,
it encourages them. Okay,
yeah,
good.
it encourages them. I believe the entry level payment for police officers right now is below $30,000. Let me Google right quick what the cost of living is in the Bahamas. What
Mhm.
is the
While,
cost?
while you Google that, I would like to put two things in play. Making everything NASA centric, is that by design? I personally think it is. Um, I got to go back to Grand Bahama as an example. The population of New Providence, as it stands right now, could hold in Grand Bahama 3 or 4 times. There are
Mm-hmm.
more natural resources here. There's more land space here. How many times has, you know, even hotel properties express interest? Hey, we want to be in Grand Bahama, and the government
Mm-hmm.
turns around and tells them, no, y'all got to go to Nassau or no deal. Why is that?
Ooh, I would like. I've never read or heard a government official or seen anything in black and white that made that demand. So I'm not sure if that's exactly what
Hmm.
it is, but it sure as feel like it. But I guess I ain't gonna lie. Even with Bahama, it's like, will we already have a mega
Listen,
resort?
Bahama was supposed to be here, Atlantis was supposed to be here, and maybe they didn't put it in official capacity, or maybe it was just said to them. But the
Let's
fact of the matter is, go ahead.
let's go. Yeah, let's go back to supply and demand.
Mm,
If you build a mega resort that requires, say, 5,000 employees, right? And you
mm-hmm,
want to maximize
mm-hmm,
profit at that resort,
mm-hmm,
the majority of your revenue is going to
mm-hmm,
be paid out to employees, right? This is after
mm-hmm,
infrastructure, this is after the building, this is
mm-hmm,
after all of that, right? But it's going to be paid out to the
mm-hmm,
employees. And in order to
mm-hmm,
pay the employees the least amount of money possible, you have to make sure that the demand for the job is high. The supply of
Okay.
workers is overwhelming. If
Mm,
it's a high supply of employees, then if your supply is high,
mm.
you pay less for the product. If your supply is low, you pay more for the
Okay.
product. Simple
o-
economics.
Okay. So no, and I understand that. So
Mhm.
what? How does that factor into the location?
The goal
Because
is
I
to
mean,
maximize
if
profit.
okay,
The
so if
goal
the
is
goal
not
is to
the goal is
maximize
not to
profit,
please
right?
the people. Yes.
Okay, fine. If the goal is to maximize profit, right?
Uh-huh.
You tell me, Brother Dyson, what
Yes.
distance is closer, 65 miles or 135 miles?
Man, we could go down. The bottom line is, I remember
Bumper
when
clad, really, my
Grand
nigga?
Bahama. I mean, it's be closer to the money in Grand Bahama.
Hmm.
It's easier for people
Yes,
to catch a jump on a cruise ship and travel to Grand Bahama than it is to get to Nassau. It's easier for them to go to Bimini. You see what I'm
exactly.
saying? Um, and but
Yes.
that's what makes sense for distance wise. But does that make sense for
Okay.
profit wise? Because any person who wants to make money, if you want to make money, right? It's like,
Mm-hmm.
and there's a science to this. This isn't something new. We got to understand it. It's 2024. That means, and this what is called this AD. After that, this is 2,000 years since they decided they was going to start from one, but it was more years before one,
Mm.
year one, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
People being
Yeah.
around for a long flipping time is what I say. So,
Mm.
and
Mm.
and and we all know that true wealth is called generational wealth. True wealth
Mm.
is my great granddaddy, daddy did something and now we wealthy, right? And in order to maintain that
Mm. Mm.
generational wealth, you have to pass down the formula to make money. And the
Mm.
formula to make money
Okay.
is, we live in two worlds, bro. I mean, the way I see it,
Mm.
the people who make money and the people who use people to
Mm-hmm.
make money. The people who are being used to make money. I
Okay.
mean, there's many when you look at it. I'm just saying it like that. But to your point,
Okay.
it makes a lot of sense for the benefit of the people to establish more industries or promote industries in different locations. To look at what can we do in Andres, that large flipping piece of land. What can we do with that? How can we de they say it ain't too much
I
people
mean,
in the
that
Bahamas.
that's why I say, spreading out the different types of things and businesses should be um, something that needs to be,
Look
looked at
into.
even further. Because I understand that, I understand New Providence is the capital. I get that, right?
Bahamas.
But what do we do when we get to the point where just nothing else can fit in New Providence anymore, and we are approaching critical mass? You see what I'm saying? What do we do when we get there? Like, come on, man.
Well, my brother,
Do you
sadly to
remember the
say.
traffic?
Yeah, yeah. Oh yes. Oh yes. Sadly
All
to
right then.
say. Sadly to say. I look at Miami when I think about that question. And every time I go to
Mm,
Miami, I don't care what time of year it is, they always doing road work, building another highway, another freeway. When you think they can't fit any more buildings, one building will be building over the next building. And the first building would be underneath the building with a garage. They just could go up to the next floor because the formula is high supply of workers, a little bit of jobs. So that if me and you fighting for one job, I could go there and say, listen, I need $5,000, which is a month, which is the cost of living in the Bahamas right now. I just Googled it, a little less than $5,000 a month it take to live an average lifestyle in the Bahamas. And in order for me to
Okay.
ask for that and get that, somebody who goes into the interview after me, Ruckus, when you go in the interview after me, you have to say, well, shoot, I have a master's degree, or I've been doing this job for 20 years. I have the experience. I charging you $6,000. That's the only way I can get the five.
Mm.
But what is actually happening is when I go in there and I make my request for $5,000, right? Somebody going behind me and saying,
Right.
man, look, yeah, I could do that for $4, bro. You see what I'm saying? Because that's what
So,
competition
so it's
does.
so it's basically a race to the bottom.
It's a race, a full out dash to who could get $1
To the
or
bottom.
50 cents straight to the bottom. And
Shit.
when you have it,
Wow.
and that is the formula to maximize profit, because you know what? In reality, a lot of these positions in these companies, they actually have $8,000-9,000 in budget for that capacity, to fill that capacity. But if they can pay
Agreed.
somebody
Agreed.
three,
Agreed.
if they can pay somebody three, they win. You see what I'm saying? But
Agreed.
that's
Agreed.
the way it is. That's the science of it. But all right, let me jump into because we can't say what's going on in the Bahamas. I want to talk, politics. I see we have the hummingbirds in the building. I'm really looking forward to what those are going to be. And I real talk, bro. I don't know which constituency I'm going to run for, but for the sake
Oh, you gonna run
of,
too, my
yeah,
nigga?
yeah, I could put my
Okay.
name.
Okay.
I could put my name in the bin and see where it roll.
Partner, you could be on the move. Partner.
But no, but I'll honestly say, yeah, man, you good. I'll honestly say, I have no intentions of entertaining foolishness if I was a politician. And foolishness is
Oh yeah, I
me
know.
trying to please.
You talk the Sami style.
Yeah, I talk to Sami Star, but
You
we never
might want to
talk
have a
politics.
conversation with Sami.
I know how people go by. Once they see a musician on the ticket, they can laugh. They can be, where you going? But you better come from out song. And that's exactly what I could do. My campaign could be say, I want to get in. I want to get into the House of Assembly because there ain't enough music in there. That's what I know.
Well, I know you.
Entertainment is what I know.
Well, I mean, Tada seemed to be doing a little something. I don't think people look at Tada and say, she just is a musician.
No, but
They ain't
Tada
listening
has
to
a
her.
deep
I don't think
story,
that
bro.
people say that.
Tada's story
Yeah.
is deep. Yes, Tada is truly invested. Her purpose for going into politics is far more noble than mine ever could and would be. For me, I want to see all Bahamian entertainers respected the same, not just and respected in the sense that they have the platform, the same platform that the Junkanoo and the Rake and Scrape people get. I want to see all. If you are Bahamian, born and raised, and you are an artist, I want the government to invest in you the same way they invest in any other level of entertainment. And people will say, well, you're going to kill culture. How? How would that kill culture?
Actually,
if culture getting it too?
Actually, the way the current approach to the orange economy is not the best.
Let's talk about it.
So, okay, I can speak from a film aspect because that's primarily the space that I'm in.
Yes.
The way we are treated in the film industry here, it's not encouraging. It doesn't help, or it doesn't encourage Bahamians to be better filmmakers. It's more like let's bring productions here so that we can give people jobs, not unlike backing an actual production so that it can be exported for profit, because that's the whole thing of it.
what is the challenge? What is the challenge that you as a filmmaker um face that you feel you could be more successful or that you can overcome with the assistance, and what does that assistance look like?
Well, first off, it's financing. Everything is financing. Everything,
Yeah.
you know.
Hmm.
So,
Or access.
um, or at least access.
Hmm.
So, personally, if I have to go out and find the funding, um, that's very challenging because not everyone is necessarily going to see your vision. And because there are people in this space who, and I have to say it frankly, because there are people in this space who have scammed and put out poor product,
Hmm.
it
Mm.
makes
Mm.
going after
Same thing in music.
financing difficult.
Same thing in music.
Now,
Yeah.
here's the thing
Hmm.
about that. The same thing in music, right?
Yeah.
Same thing in
Yeah.
music.
Hmm.
But see, here's the thing about that, and here's where I give a lot of persons wrong. If Dyson Knight wants financing for his next album or next project, right? It's very
Hmm.
wrong for someone to come and say, "Oh, well, man, I give so and so money and they ain't do nothing with it. So I don't know what Dyson can do." Excuse me?
Yeah.
Dyson has a
Yeah.
track record,
My
you
name
know what I'm
Dyson.
saying?
Yeah, my name is
And
Dyson.
it's
When
not
you
a,
bring it right.
exactly. You see what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Uh-huh.
So if I'm a filmmaker, right, and I have a track record of films that I've done, all right, and I'm sorry if I sound a little braggadocious or arrogant, right? But
Yeah, man,
I'm a
flex.
pioneer in Bahamian filmmaking. I'm a pioneer
Flex.
in Bahamian filmmaking.
Hmm.
No other filmmaker from the Bahamas out there has created a Bahamian martial art film. No one. I wish
Mm.
there were more.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. We used to
But
kill them growing up, bro.
what? But
Yeah,
so
yeah.
so
Your
so
movie, you
you
have the
know,
delayed speech in yours too? Like after you saying, but yeah,
yeah,
slap you.
some of it, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah. So but you know, when I did the film, I
Hmm.
went to certain persons in certain places within certain government agencies for assistance.
Hmm.
One, they told me at the time that they didn't do that. Two, they told me that it wasn't cultural. And I'm like, let me get this straight. You got Bahamians,
But
not just you got Bahamians, not just like making up no bush karate. These
right,
are authentic martial arts styles being showcased.
by
And you can
Bahamians.
tell me, oh, because it ain't John Canoe, because it ain't rake and scrape, because it
See,
ain't platinum maple or not, it's
see,
not cultural. Like, get the hell out
see,
of here with that.
see. And no disrespect to that. No disrespect to Platinum Maple and all these
No,
other
no,
cultural
not at
events,
all. Not
and
at
like
all.
the utmost respect to it. But at the same time, which country puts all of their eggs in one basket?
If if
They
if
have
if you
Walmart
if
in
you look
China.
at it, Dyson, it's if you look at it, Dyson, other countries around the world realize how powerful not just film, but how powerful the creative industry, the creative space is. The
Yeah,
creative industry is a $2 trillion a year industry. Two
yeah,
trillion,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
So what are we as Bahamians doing to get a piece of this $2 trillion? Bringing down a foreign production and putting Bahamians as caterers and makeup artists and little gophers and PAs and things like that. That's one thing, right?
Yeah.
But why can't we have a Bahamian film franchise that goes out there and taps into that $2 trillion market? I like to use the African films as an example
Hmm.
because a lot of the African films that have made its way into the Caribbean, uh, uh, like the diaspora,
Hmm.
they've become very popular. Obviously, the governments of Nigeria, Uganda, and Kenya, they realize, hey, wait a minute, there's something to be made here.
Mm-hmm.
So, however they could have given assistance to their filmmakers, they did that. And now you have top-notch quality productions making its way to the streaming services and around the world and making billions of dollars.
Mm-hmm.
Why can't that
Mm-hmm.
happen for the Bahamas? It's because the approach to the orange economy here is severely lacking.
Wow. Listen to this. I just Google how much money does the US government give to the film industry. And just read in the first thing that pop up in Google. In 38 states, they've also shipped money off to high gloss private industry, Hollywood. And it's a lot of money. My colleague Christopher Kuo and I found that those states had given out more than 25 billion over the past 2 decades to subsidize the making of movies and television. So, in the
Okay.
past 20 years, the US government has sponsored the film industry more than $25 billion. This is only according to what I found on Google now. So, don't quote me. You could fact check on that. But just that people can even suggest that. And if I was to ask the question, how much money have the Bahamian film industry seen from a government investment over the past 20 years? I sure and don't run out with me about the Bahamas ain't got that kind of money. Trillions of dollars pass through the Bahamas.
That's, oh
Trillions
yeah,
of dollars pass
oh
through
yeah,
this country.
oh yeah.
And movies are made in the Bahamas, right? And
Yes.
if the right
Blockbuster films.
if the right protective measures are taken and the unions
Mm.
are properly run, because I ain't putting it all on the government. It have to be the body of filmmakers too, Ruckus, and the body of musicians too, Dyson, that have to stand and say, hey, some dues need to be paid into the industry so that we can use that money to build it. We don't even have to go in,
Mhm.
we don't have to go into the treasury. You just make sure people pay
Eh,
dues that come on in and do it, that they doing certain things. They pay into what we need to do later. Because trillions of dollars pass through the country.
exactly. Like, let me tell you something. You see this studio here on my shirt? See this right here?
Got
This
you.
Grand Bahama Studios, right?
Nice. Hmm.
The owner of Grand Bahama Studios is my best friend, Michael Garvey, right?
Shout
We are
out.
currently in production with a documentary for the first ever spree killing in the Bahamas. I'm not telling you this because I'm a part of the production or Mr. Garvey is my friend. I'm telling you this
Right.
because it's true. This is
Right.
going to be one of the best pieces of film to come out of this country.
Who's
You
sponsoring
understand
it?
me? This this is going to be a Netflix style documentary. When this comes out, people are going to look and say, well, holy shit, did this come from the Bahamas?
Nice. I love
You
that.
understand what I'm saying?
I love that. Uh-huh.
So why is it, right? Why is it that with the quality of film that is coming up, why is it that he can't get the support he needs, or we can't get the support we need to get this film done? This isn't some YouTube video. You know what I'm saying? This is
Hmm.
a top-notch quality production.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, for the people that don't understand film industry, and this is all a part of what's going on in the Bahamas. You have the Bahamian film makers that are invested. The man living in Nassau, he all the way in Grand Bahama now, working to produce something that the country is going to be proud of. And I
Hmm.
believe in it. But even if it's crap, even if it's garbage, I feel as though you should get all the money that you need in order to make the best piece of garbage you could possibly make. Because at the end of the day, and this is something in music industry, at the end of the day, when we have any payment, sponsored or not, put something out. If you put something in Netflix, boy, I already saying, okay, this coming from the Bahamas. I need for this to look like like something I want to be represented by. We just send people to the Olympics. You think we could send the slowest people in Nassau to the Olympics? No. We could try to send the strongest and the fastest people. And and in order to have the strongest and the
Yeah.
fastest, and this is something, a concept that we need to get together too, we have to invest in them whilst they slow, when they just hungry to be fast. And that's why I put a lot of creatives at now. You don't look for who, not in a small country like the Bahamas, you don't look, I mean, you do look for the person who's doing the best product with what they have, right? But you also
Yeah.
look for the people who are hungry to succeed, because those are the people who ain't gonna take the money and do foolishness with it. Some of the most talented people, you give them $1 million, you know what they're going to do with that? They can ball. They can buy a nice car. They can buy a big house that they can't,
Yeah.
they can't pay taxes for. They can travel all around the world and do all kinds of foolishness with your money. But if you give $1 million to somebody who hungry to make music, but they're making $1 million worth of music.
Tyson, let me stop you right there because I can have to move. I can be
All
moving
right,
away from
all
Wi-Fi.
right.
I'm trying to
Do,
get back
all right, do your
to
thing, bro.
Wi-Fi as quickly as I can because I know you have a time limit.
Yeah. I could just slap up for a couple
But
more
thank you,
minutes.
bro.
So
I
shout
really
out to you.
appreciate it.
Shout out to you, Ruckus, and big up yourself. But y'all make that Netflix hit. So, I mean, payments are capable. And I ain't asking this. Like, I've been blessed to work with talented people for the majority of my life. And I say it's blessed because I don't know how I get in uh the extra band. I produced a song. Um, One of the members heard it, and next thing I knew, I was a part of the band. Ended up writing hit songs, working with Cacique nominated producers and talented musicians, from just doing what I had to do, um, which is sing songs on the front line, be invisible to a band like Bahamas, and now being a part of Bahamas, Grammy award winning, multiple awards, multi platinum, selling band. Like, I don't know how I get there, right? But I can tell you the people I've been working with are brilliant. Everybody. So we ain't short of talent. What we need is structure, and maybe that's where we need to put the money. Um, where we need to pump the money. And I know, talking about the Bahamas, crime is very high. Till I heard the police officers talk about having more road stops, roadblocks, and putting more police officers on the streets and walking the streets and doing this. All this manpower, all these hours to try to police the streets. But how do we promote peace? Is that just discouraging criminal activity, or are you discouraging people from becoming criminals? It's something to think about. I believe there'll be less crime if we take away the reason. One of the things I look at, I saw the one of the bishops, I think Baptist church bishop, was on the news talking about the government legalizing or introducing some type of marijuana. Um, what's the word? Why the word's leaving me right now? Anyway, they're talking about legalizing cannabis, and he said that he's going to Jamaica in a couple of days or weeks, and he's thinking about trying it. And if you at my age, my dad told me when I was a child, before I even knew what drugs was, he said, "Son, if you get in any trouble doing drugs or doing anything criminal, don't call me from the police station." still playing with the little toy police cars at this time when he told me this. So I grew up thinking that certain things are evil. You just don't do it. And now to hear a bishop say, but I mean, I'm old now, so I understand that the fear they put in us about these things was unnecessary, because something that grows naturally shouldn't have to be illegal. And maybe that's a good argument too. What other natural things happen that is considered illegal? I can't think of anything right off the top of my head. Anyway, my point is, we need to be intentional about progress. Ruckus and I was talking about why the mega resorts are being built on the same island. Well, that's commerce. That's people just trying to do smart business. And it's unfortunate that governments behave like human resource departments, where you would think they're there to protect the employees. No, they're there to get the full potential out of the employees for the benefit of the company. They're dealing with the resources, the humans, which is the resource of the company. And the governments are doing that. We would like for our government to say, "Oh, let's fight for the people." No, that's not what they're doing. That's how they get elected, by saying they're doing it. And they do a little of it. I mean, they do a lot of it, because you have to play defense. They do a lot of it. But any government that goes in there and tries to do what's best for the people isn't going to be looked upon favorable by the rest of the world, by the rest of and when I say the world, I'm talking about business-wise. It's not a good place to do business. It's too expensive to do business there. But anyway, we're already at 45 minutes, so I think I could even make that my final words. Big ups to Ruckus for coming through. Thanks for your comments. To Dar, appreciate you. This is episode 94. Where's my music? I can't end the show without music. Well, you know what? Let me play this one. Seeing as though the Olympics is going on right now. Nah. Branding. About we did talk economics, we talked a little bit about law, politics, we talked about, shout out to Kyle Wilson, president of the Bahamas Electrical Workers Union, for protecting the employees. That's like this with unions do. If government really was looking out for the people, then there wouldn't be any need or much need for unions. There's another level, like who's protecting the people. Y'all understand where this is going, right? Let's be smart, man. Bahamians, people all around the world, we need to be wise. You need money to live. Well, you need food, and food costs a lot of money. You need, I don't wear much clothes, but you need clothes. You need shelter. These things cost money. Try to figure out a way to make that happen without criminal activity. I don't know. Not much else to say. Episode 94, Sup'm Show. I'm Dyson Knight. We out.